Hello, welcome to Brockwell Lane. I thought you might be interested to see what's on my workbench at the moment, because there's a lot of little projects here, lots of different scales, not one project really big enough to do one video on. So this is just what's on my workbench at the moment, some projects that are in the process. I went to Doncaster Model Railway exhibition not last weekend, the weekend before I think, and I went to the Skytrex stand. Now they make lots of resin buildings and details, and one of their new products was this resin kit of a narrowboat, and I've put it together and sort of painted it up a little bit. I'm still working on it, I'm still trying to figure out what colours it should be and so on. They're really nice kits. Really sturdy, strong, got a real quality to them, and that's a new release I think from them, so that should look nice when it's finished, and that's going to go on my harbour scene on the Brockwell Lane layout. I've got to repaint. I'm not happy with the colours I chose on here, but they'll do as a base coat. I think I'm going to do it a lighter colour, but I really need to go and look at some real narrowboats and pictures on the internet and so on. I have got a transfer sheet, which it doesn't come with any transfers, but I ordered these online, which are from, I think they're Langley, so I might be using some of those on it as well, so you'll see that in the future. What else have we got? Well, let me put that to one side. Also from Skytrex, I bought a number of these little boxes, I think they're like fish boxes or crates, which are white metal, which I've just sprayed black at the moment, but they're going to go brown. So there again, that's a nice detail for my harbour scene, wharf scene. I need to get those painted. I've had this a while. This is, if I'm getting in focus, this is a Kato N-gauge chassis. Now you'll know I've got a 009 layout, which I'm still waiting for the locomotives from Helgen, and that's driving me nuts because they're taking forever. So I thought I'd buy that and sort of scratch build something on top of it, a little diesel shunt or something like that. So I've had that hanging around for a while. It's only about £15 I think. They're nice runners, they need a bit of weight on them though. So I'm going to try and scratch build a body. Now when I was at Doncaster last weekend, I came across a company, I can't remember the name, but they do little body kits for diesels to fit on these. And in the spares tray they had just the cab in brass sheet. I just fold it together and that's what you sort of get. I've painted it green, I've glazed it as well, and that'll sort of fit on there, and then I have to scratch build a bonnet of some sort. It's just something to shunt wagons around whilst I'm waiting for the Helgen engines to come out. Now one trick I've done to glaze this, if you I can get it close enough to the camera, it's actually glazed there. Now what I've actually done is use sellotape on the inside, which of course gives a very sticky window then, and then on top of that I just put a good coat of normal PVA, which dries clear. It's a very thin coat so you don't get any blobs or anything, and that sort of it bonds the sellotape to the window really hard and gives it a flush glazing effect. Bit of a cheat, I know, but it works. So I might use that method again for small windows in buildings and things. That needs trimming off. So that's another project which is sort of ongoing. There's also this Dapol 156 in N-gauge of course, which I showed you not last time before on my N-gauge introduction. I really like these, they're really good models. But a couple of things I didn't like was the inside, the seats were very light grey colour. So what I've done, I took the roof off and painted the seats a dark blue colour, which looks a bit better, I think. I also painted the roof, which was black, into a dark grey, because of course black in the real world doesn't last black very long, it very soon goes grey. I'm going to also weather the underframe, which is why it's not left my workbench yet. The roofs are very easy to get off, and they're just unclipped at the side there, pull off. There's also a couple of people in there of this variety, which are from Hong Kong, very cheap. You know, not very well painted, I must add, but it doesn't really matter once they're inside. You get about 100 for a couple of quid. They take ages to come from China, but you know, it's just the way it is. What else have we got? There's also there's a Hornby Peckett here. Now, this was the Huntley & Palmer's version, which I removed the lettering from, and I've put my own nameplate. It was not my own nameplate. It's a custom nameplate from Narrow Planet. Now you can choose any name you want and any style of nameplate you want, and they will do them for you, and they'll send you them. And as you can see, I've called this Toby. The problem was with the Huntley & Palmer's, it's actually a biscuit factory down south, and I didn't particularly want to model a biscuit factory. I'd rather it be on coal wagons or something like that. So that was, I think that looks a little bit better and more suitable for something that's not a biscuit factory. There's also 2 people in the cab there, which I think are from the Hornby range, which I've just painted. I painted their overalls a different colour, so they don't look like BR drivers. Now, removing the transfers is always a bit of a difficult job. You have to approach it differently every time with different manufacturers. What I did with this was dip a cotton bud stick in some white spirits and rub away at the writing until it started to fade, and it took an awful long time, but it did come off eventually. I was in danger of scratching the paint underneath when I got a bit too rough with it, but it looks okay now, I think. Another modification I do to these is paint red that little bolt there, because that comes in a metal colour, and I also paint the buff heads black. But pretty much I think that's all I did. I put KDs on it, of course, as well. Now that's one of 2 Pecketts I've got. The other one is Dodo, or was Dodo. I'm doing a similar thing to this. Again, I've ordered some nameplates from Narrow Planet, and I've chosen a different name again, but of the same style as the blue one, so they go together and match. So they can work on the same sort of colliery branch or on my dock side or whatever. KDs again, of course. I collect these wagons from Bachman, these Harrison's wagons, because that happens to be my surname. So any opportunity I see on second-hand stalls or eBay, I'll buy those and change the numbers on there. You can change things like 8 to 3 by scratching away at the number and things like that, but they've all got different numbers. I've got a few different transfers which I never throw out, which come in handy and might match up. That one I've done as a slightly better condition one with the white wheels, and I've also glossed it up. They all got coal loads in, but I thought they went quite well with the Pecketts. I'll get it back on the track. Another thing I've got on here, at the show I bought a nice little Oxford Land Rover, which is going to go on the station at Georgians Junction. because you can actually park on the station at George Junction. So that'll go on my N-gauge layout when the actual platform's done. Only about £4, I think. Another thing I've got here this is my dad's model. This is a Helgen Class 26, and it's of the latest variety. And it's he bought it from Hatton's, and I think at the moment, if I've not checked today, it might be finished the offer, but they were £59 for certain liveries, about £61 for other ones. And I think that's a great price. What I've done to this, well, the reason he's brought it to me is he wants me to fit some snow ploughs on it. So I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to get around to doing that. I've got some Helgen ones. Oh no, the Bachmann ones actually there. They're for Bachmann 37, I think. Now I've got to try and figure out how to get these on so the coupler still works. I think what I'm going to do is probably cut away that centre section halfway. You'll have to cut that prong off there for the socket as well, the DCC socket. Not DCC, NEM pocket, sorry. And I'm probably going to then attach that to the bucket at the bottom of the NEM pocket where the KD is. It's going to swing round like that, which is not realistic. It should be body mounted, but the trouble is there's just no way to do that and still have the coupler on the front. So I think that's what I'm going to do with that. I've done that before on other things like 37s, and that works kind of well. The other thing I've done to this is I've painted the wheel fronts in a Humbrol satin black, which I think looks a lot better, not as shiny. I've also put a little blob of grey on the front of the buffers there, which makes it look like it's got some grease on it, or it's been coupled up and used a bit. Otherwise it's as it was out the box. So what else is there? I think that's about it actually. Yep, I can't think of anything else. So anyway, you'll see these running round on future updates. So thank you very much for watching again. I'll see you next time. Comment below, subscribe, whatever. Thank you very much. Bye bye.